There is a moment when the weight of what we cling to becomes the very chain that drags us into the darkness. Sin does not shout. It whispers, promising safety while tightening its grip. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Marclas 8:36. And when the fire of eternity rises to meet the choices we made in secret, the shadows welcome us with a silence that burns deeper than flame. Edwin Mercer was a man praised for his discipline, a businessman, organized, punctual, respected in the cold and polished world he built for himself. Every morning he woke before sunrise, brewed the same bitter cup of coffee, and sat in the same leather chair to count figures, his eyes fixed on numbers, as if they alone could hold his life together. His home was quiet, clean, immaculate, but not warm. He preferred it that way. He believed that affection complicated life, that generosity weakened men. He lived alone not because he lacked company, but because he feared anything he couldn't control. Edwin's worldview was simple. Money was safety, wealth was power, possessions were worth more than people. He smiled only when deals were closed, never when hearts tried to reach him. The sin that dominated him was avarice, greed, so deep it shaped every corner of his existence. He hid cash in envelopes, in books, beneath floorboards, but his most sacred place was the large steel safe he kept in a locked room, a vault where he stored stacks of bills he rarely used. Money, to him, wasn't for spending it, was for worship. Yet even as opportunities to choose light appeared, moments when compassion nudged him, when sermons whispered to his conscience, a torned hawa, he preferred the comfort of cold metal to the warmth of God's call. A quiet spiritual storm gathered around him, though he refused to see the signs. As his greed grew, something inside Edwin shrank. He became suspicious of everyone. He accused co-workers of plotting against him. He avoided family gatherings, fearing someone would ask for help. His heart hardened, turned brittle, cracking under the pressure of the very wealth he adored. Emotionally, he became hollow. The joy he thought money would bring never came. Nights were sleepless. Days were filled with anxiety. His chest tightened whenever he imagined losing even a small portion of his fortune. He stopped praying. He stopped listening. He stopped feeling. Relationships around him collapsed. Friends gave up trying to reach him. His sister stopped calling altogether. And spiritually, every whisper of God faded beneath the rustle of paper bills. He had two clear opportunities to repent. The first came when a homeless man approached him near his office, shivering, asking only for a meal. Something tugged at Edwin, an echo of who he once was. For a second, he considered helping, but he turned away, clutching his briefcase tighter, as if compassion was theft. The second came when his pastor visited unexpectedly, expressing concern, gently asking if he felt distant from God. Edwin's eyes burned, guilt rising, but he dismissed the pastor politely, claiming he was busy, shutting the door on the last hand extended toward him. And so, he fell deeper into the cavern he dug with his own greed. Late one night, after counting his money for the 10th time, Edwin felt uneasy. He walked into the locked room, opened his heavy safe, and began rearranging bundles of bills, making space for more. But as he reached inside, the shelves shifted. The drawer jammed, and suddenly, the safe door swung closed, sealing him inside. He tried to push, to shout, but the steel swallowed his voice. The air thinned. The darkness pressed against him. His breaths slowed, then stuttered. In Tatsilem, suffocating box surrounded by the wealth he worshipped, Edwin Mercer died, a quiet, abrupt severing between time and eternity. He opened his eyes to blackness, thick, living darkness that pulsed like a heartbeat. The air scorched his lungs. Heat wrapped around him like a living creature. Choking, he rose to his knees. Flames danced across a vast valley, moving like wind-alive breathing. The ground throbbed beneath him, hot enough to blister, yet he felt no death, only endless burning. Around him, silhouettes, writhed people, twisted in shapes no earthly body could endure. Their mouths stretched open in muted screams. From the fiery earth, hands reached up, clawing at the air, begging for release that would never come. Voices aged, ragged, distant, like cries traveling through centuries. The loneliness around him was deeper than silence and absolute abandonment, the absence of God itself. Edwin clutched his chest, trembling. His mind raced. This cannot be real. This cannot be where I am. But the truth sank into his bones like molten iron. A voice rose not from above, nor from any direction. It simply existed. Edwin, you traded eternity for dust. He gasped. Please, someone, anyone, help me. You treasured what moths destroy and thieves steal, and you ignored the one who offered you life. I didn't know. I didn't mean. You were warned. You felt the emptiness. You silenced every call to return. He collapsed, tears evaporating before they touched the ground. Is there no way back? No chance. There is no return. What you clung to has become what holds you. The flames shifted, twisting around him. In the distance, shadows convulsed in unending agony. Edwin realized he was one of them now. He cried out first in anger, then in terror, then in sorrow. He saw every moment he ignored God, every opportunity he crushed beneath greed. He tried to speak to the living, to warn them, to beg them not to follow his path. But his voice dissolved into the burning wind. He sank into the ash, overwhelmed by the knowledge that he chose this place, that every coin he clutched weighed more than his soul. His regret became his eternal fire. Greed whispers, promises it cannot keep. It convinces us that security is found in what we possess, not in the one who created us. Edwin believed wealth could fill the emptiness within him, but sin only deepened the void. Death does not negotiate. It comes quietly, without warning, and when it arrives, only our choices remain. While life endures, there is mercy. There is forgiveness. There is time. But eternity responds only to what we chose to love. If this story touched your heart, stay with us. Walk with us through these reflections, where every episode speaks to the soul, and prepare for the next chapter. Another life, another choice, another descent into the valley where the consequences of sin can no longer be undone.